Alright everyone, hello, greetings, and welcome to this fairly late news video. I am the Ninjaneer, and the topics we are covering today are as follows. Thank you all for watching. Aptera in San Francisco. People think Aptera costs $80,000. Aptera model available, or was available. Steve Fambro's status posts on X. New battery facilities in Washington and 13 other states get grants. Redwood Materials signs a BMW deal for battery recycling, and things that I liked. Let's get started. Alright folks, this first topic is actually a bit of something that I haven't done in a while, and I kind of wanted to make sure that you guys know that I appreciate you. I am constantly surprised with the number of people that end up becoming part of this interesting news cycle that is the Aptera news cycle. The people that have watched are always very interesting and fun and comment, what do you call it, opinionated in the best ways possible, generally speaking. So there was this article that was put out that kind of made me think about this because I hadn't thought about it in a little while. There was a game that came out some time ago called Super Smash Brothers, and I don't know if you guys had heard of it, but if you'll allow me to get nerdy for just a second, that game basically revolves around the concept of punching your friend's character in the face enough times to knock them off of the stage. The person who created that wonderful game is named Masahiro Sakurai. He had an interview where he seemed to be lamenting the time that people had spent on his game. Let me just go ahead and go to the article and let you see what I'm talking about. This apology, basically he says, I'm sorry for having you guys spend so much time in my game, more or less, but the apology comes courtesy of the famed director's most recent Creating Games episode, in which he reconciles with the idea that a game's playtime is basically a cost that players need to weigh. Playtime is especially how it's conceived before starting a game, is better thought of as a cost of sorts, he explains. In the modern world, you are constantly competing with everyone else, with everything else. It is a battle for people's time. Even if someone has lots of free time on their hands, that means something different now than it did in the past. There are always things to do. The question is, how do people choose to spend their time? Basically, he is saying that he is sorry that he made such an addictive, interesting, amazing game, and he seems to have some... there's a trope in anime where there are people that say, I'm sorry instead of thank you, and this feels like one of those times to me. Masahiro Sakurai, if he were around me or in the room with me, a person who has himself spent many thousands of hours playing Super Smash Brothers. I spent more time on Super Smash Brothers than I spent on any other game, period. And that is saying something because I spent hundreds of hours on some other games. But long story short, I am a gamer who has spent most of his time playing Smash Brothers, and I cannot think of a more perfect way to relieve stress, to unwind, to be entertained during the course of the afternoon than to sit down and play Smash Brothers with various friends and family, from my college friends and high school friends all the way up into today, where I play with my children on a fairly regular basis. So yeah, said all of that to say that I appreciate all of you guys taking the time out of your day to experience a video by this randomly rambling fellow who is trying to keep you all informed about a company that he happens to love. Yeah, thank you guys. I guess that whole 3.5-minute rant was thank you. So yeah, Aptera took their solar vehicle to a beach in San Francisco. This beach was essentially hosting an event for Aptera. I do not remember the name of the event right off the top of my head, but the event was a smashing success. There were tons of people lined up around the corner. Let me see if I could find the picture. There we go. They were basically lined up around the corner waiting to see the Aptera. Hundreds of glasses were passed out. Packets of glasses and stickers and all kinds of stuff like that were passed out. People got to sit in the Aptera, which was, for me, when I got to sit in the Aptera, it was actually a very enlightening experience, a fantastic experience. I enjoyed it very much. The seats were comfortable and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of people are echoing that exact same sentiment. So it is great to see that a lot of people got the opportunity to see the Aptera, some of them for the first time, many of them not for the first time. There were influential people of all types looking at it and sitting in it. There were news stories written about this particular event, and yeah, there were all sorts of things that happened as a result of this event. So yeah, a lot of good access, good publicity, good stuff happening for Aptera, and I know that they need that kind of stuff because they are eventually entering production by rumors as early as the second quarter of 2025. So I am looking forward to that happening, but it's good to see them getting out to these events because you never know who you meet at one of these events. Could be, you know, some major player and have a lot of money to put into an idea that they think is worthwhile, and I cannot think of a more worthwhile idea at this point in the EV industry than Aptera. Besides the event, by the way, they also went around to some places that are iconic, the fine arts museums in one of the fine arts museums in San Francisco. I have not been to this place specifically, but I like that they are putting this place on the map because I love art museums and I want to go to this one now that I have seen it. Aptera put on sale some time ago a 1/18th scale model of the Aptera. I saw this advertisement for 1,000 of these models and I said to myself, "Self, you don't need this thing. You don't want this thing." And the whole time I was basically lying to myself. I needed it and I wanted to go get it, and then I clicked on it to go order it and it was sold out. So as of right now, the entire complement of 1,000 of these models are sold out and you cannot obtain them anymore. So I'm hoping that they put out another type of model, another one of these types of situations, maybe not numbered or something like that. I know there are other people that have echoed that same sentiment. I hope they put out something like this that they just sell, because they will sell like gangbusters. And yeah, if the couple of hours selling out situation of the first 1,000 of these is any indicator, they could probably make quite a few more and still sell them all. Steve Fambro has been very active on X recently, showing pictures and updates of the Aptera as it's being produced and put together. So he put this post up that says, you know, hey, do you guys have any guesses to what this is? There are some guesses, blah, 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 things happen, and a lot of people asked what it could be and speculated on what it could be, cable guide, that kind of thing. At the end of the day, he said, it's an alignment jig for the body side during bonding of the internal bits. There are things that hold car parts still while people are working on them, snapping in pieces and things like that. And this is one of those parts. I believe that this particular thing is probably optimized for the body panel as it exists and as it will exist as the PI builds are built. I do not know if this will apply to the actual assembly line. Like, are they going to put this on the assembly line? Because it doesn't look like something that is particularly mobile or convenient to move around. This seems like just for the PI builds kind of situation. So I kind of wonder what their production tooling is going to be like for this situation. Another post that he put out was a door panel for the Aptera that is being put together. It's about to have the aluminum insert bonded to the door itself. It looks like there might be already some little rivets here. Maybe they're going to like smush the rivets and make it adhere or something like that. I'm not entirely sure how that goes. Like maybe there are little clips that pop through or something like that. But anyway, they're about to bond it, or so this post says, and I am very curious to see more of this as it develops. Alright, so the EV market has been a new and tempestuous place recently. So much so that there are a lot of people that are saying that the US basically needed to get into the EV market yesterday. And I agree with those people. And I agree with Tesla when they say that building an electric vehicle is hard and you have to get through the making the mistakes part so you can get to a good product. It has played out that way in a lot of EV companies and regular car companies' case. I guess ICE vehicle and EV vehicle companies are now kind of becoming the same thing because they're expanding into EVs. Anyway, long story short, the market has been kind of brutal, and it is no secret that Chinese EVs are in a lot of ways way better than EVs that we have in the US because they are mostly 10 to 15 years late early production vehicles that have not been honed and refined and tuned. Yeah, China doesn't have that problem because they got onto it almost immediately and have been expanding and getting better and bigger and more dominant when it comes to the EV space, so much so that they're selling them to Europe and other places like that now. Long story short, in an effort to kind of bring the US back into dominance when it comes to the electric vehicle market, the US kind of awarded somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 billion to EV battery production facilities in about 14 states. The one that I'd heard about was Washington, but as I was looking up Washington, I found that there were 13 other states that had grants given of a similar nature and value. So yeah, the article here from ABC News says that the administration is awarding $3 billion to U.S. companies to boost domestic production of advanced batteries and other material used for electric vehicles, part of a continuing push to reduce China's global dominance in the battery production for EVs and other electronics. So yeah, just like I said, they're trying to make sure that the U.S. stays relevant in this market that will literally eclipse everything else. For those of you who may think that EVs are a gimmick or a fad or things like that, the US has put many, many billions of dollars beyond these $3 billion into the EV market, and they are trying to catch up with the market at large. The market at large is basically screaming, hey, we would like affordable, good EVs that we can actually drive around. And the world market is starting to hear and answer that. So for those of you who are under the impression that maybe we are not gonna transition to EVs or what have you, whatever, first of all, I'm not sure why you're on this particular channel because that's literally all I talk about. But if you're here, welcome. I'm more than happy to have you. I'm just a little confused as to why you're here if you don't think EVs are the next big thing. But yeah, besides that, yeah, it looks like the more time goes by, the more people are starting to realize EVs are the next big thing. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if hybrids can make any meaningful dent in that, which I honestly almost don't want them to because it's kind of like a gas car with extra steps. But anyway, long story short, that thing is happening. Among other things happening in the EV industry, there are operations that are trying to specialize in the recycling of batteries. Redwood Materials is one such company, and they just signed a deal to recycle BMW's EV batteries in the US. Redwood Materials actually has several companies that they are partnering with, but they just gained a new automaker partner today, today being the 19th of this month, which was yesterday. It has agreed to a deal with BMW of North America to recycle lithium-ion battery packs from BMW's electrified vehicles and will eventually use recycled material from Redwood in battery packs for BMWs built in North America as the automaker works towards a closed-loop supply chain. This is the biggest advantage, in my opinion, of an electric vehicle over a gas-powered vehicle the power source, the energy that you store in the vehicle, in the battery, can be used again after the battery or the EV has died. You can take those components, smush them up, refine it again, take out those components, and make new batteries out of them. So it is a cyclical loop that basically never has to end, and you don't have to find new components minus maybe, you know, a couple of percentage every 50 or 60 years because, you know, those materials have run their course or worn out or whatever happens to that battery material. I haven't done too much research on that part, but as far as I understand it, as long as you can get those minerals out and refine them, you can use them again and again and again, kind of like how water is used again and again and again. It's the water cycle. It rains down on trees, goes to the ocean, gets picked up again. But basically, we are putting together a literal circle of life when it comes to battery production and reuse. Alright, so for the first thing that I like today, this new video from Telo Trucks basically talks about the reason why this particular truck has 500 horsepower. Long story short, it's so that the vehicle can perform the way that they expect it to perform and they want it to perform. They decided that this was the right amount of power for their application, and going cheaper or going with smaller motors and things like that would not have been ideal. I encourage you to watch this entire video because they get really nerdy and into some granular stuff, while at the same time staying very topical, which is one thing that I've noticed is really cool and interesting about most EV startups these days, the Apteras and the Telos of this world. They are doing a really good job of giving you enough information that you're not bored, but not too much information that you're like not seeking more information afterwards. I've never sat and watched one of these videos and said, oh, that was sufficient, I want to, you know, sit down and do something else. I always say, oh, I need to research this more. I need to know more about this thing. I need to know more about this part, more about this engine. And so the fact that they are so good at making you want more information to better understand the technologies of the day, fantastic. I applaud them every time, and I wish that they would keep on doing it because it is amazing. Okay, so this video is about the factors that have kept Aptera from becoming a thing, and why some of those factors have allowed Aptera to prosper and blossom into the company that they are today, and why when they do hit the ground running, the time frame that they are planning on hitting the ground running, they will be very well positioned to do well in the market. This video is another great example of why I like this particular channel. Yeah, it's just a really good video. I just suggest you check it out. I'd rather not spoil it too much, but yeah, it's a really good think piece on the logic behind where Aptera may have come to the conclusion as to when they needed to release their vehicle, market factors, and all that kind of stuff that kind of played into it. So I suggest you check it out. It was pretty awesome. Alright, the last thing that I liked today was a video by a channel called Aptera Accessories. I can only assume that they are going to end up making accessories for the Aptera and or installing accessories for the Aptera. The gentleman in question here made a really good comparison between the EMR3 and the motor from Alafe, or rather a motor from Alafe that has been seen with the Aptera more than once. So yeah, if you guys have the time to check this new channel out, go ahead and subscribe to this guy. I'm probably gonna I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. Yeah, he did a great job breaking it down. I appreciated the information in the video, and I think you guys would too. Alright, that'll be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am the Ninjaneer. If you'd like to do the YouTubey things, please do so with the links all around me. If you'd like to take the time to like and subscribe and all that kind of jazz, hit me up in the comments, whatever. It's all there. I trust you guys to know where that's at because it's YouTube and it hasn't changed much. So now I'm just waving my arms for no reason. Okay, while you're deciding whether or not to click on the links, I'm just gonna meditation. I don't actually meditate, so I apologize to anybody who I'm offending right now. I just felt like moving my hands and my arms and wiggling my fingers, and yeah, I think that should have been enough time for you guys to click or comment or whatever. So yeah, have a good day.